And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 58. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC, as the players did need some time to prepare, but now we are jumping into a fresh best of 3, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Dynasty, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Gaimin Gladiators. It is SHIN. Here we go. We are going to be settling in again. For those that are just now tuning in, we have already wrapped up the round of 16. We wrapped up the quarterfinals, and now we are jumping into the semifinals here. 2 series remaining in the broadcast. The semis followed by the grand finals. We're nearing the end of the event already. Again, it was a bit of a faster tournament. A lot of fast games. A lot of just aggression and a lot of intensity here in these matches so far. And I'm sure that will continue. Sure it will, as we are settling into our best of 3. When it comes to this best of 3, I did mention earlier that ByuN and SHIN are once again at each other's throats. If you were here last week for ESL Open Cup Asia, the final ESL Open Cup Asia of the season, then you would have seen, or you've seen us cast, you would have seen us cover these 2 players facing off in the grand finals. They faced off in a best of 5, and SHIN, in a very quick fashion, did make short work of ByuN. It was a 3-0, a fast 3-0 as well. Very impressive performance out of SHIN on Monday. And we'll see if ByuN can get his revenge, as he's going for a Rax expand. And I just realized we loaded into Dynasty. This is crazy. This is wild. Dynasty, one of the most... Oh, wait. My apologies. Predictions. Before I go on a tangent, predictions are open in the Twitch chat. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat with those predictions. But quickly going into the map itself, Dynasty, the most viewed map in the map pool, one of the most viewed maps in the map pool, very often unseen in this matchup, unless it's a longer series like a best of 5, a best of 7, a best of 9. That's when Dynasty is spotted, and ByuN, he checks, he sees there is no gold, which is what I was expecting as well. That's why the question mark. He was expecting the gold base to be taken, because that is what is done traditionally on this map. And ByuN is confused. I'm confused. And SHIN, I'm sure, is also confused. Now, I don't know what SHIN's response is. I do understand the TT though. ByuN a little bit sad about the response. If you are maybe a little bit more native, if you can read Hangul, I would appreciate a translation. But I do know at least that ByuN was confused as to why the gold wasn't taken. I don't know what SHIN said as a response though. As SHIN has gone for a hatch gas pool opener into the 3rd. It's possible that maybe SHIN was saying that, maybe he's trying to catch ByuN off guard and he's trying to play unpredictably. I'm curious. Now, a big reason why this map is vetoed so often is because of the gold base. A Terran player can take this gold unimpeded. A Zerg player cannot. The reason why is because Reapers can and will punish this from across the other side of the wall. Reapers, Hellions, Marines, range-based units will not allow a Zerg player to drone and to macro and to actually sustain the space unless you go for a proxy on the other side, which is what ByuN was looking for. But there was no proxy gold. There was no hatchery here on the other side of the wall. So interesting kind of setup here for SHIN. Because of this, ByuN will have an economic advantage here coming into this game, and we'll see how SHIN punishes this. Now, typically on this map, Roach play. Because you can only punish this with range-based units, Ling Bane can't do anything, Roach Ravager can. So very often we see Roach Ravager here in ZVT on Dynasty. I'm curious if SHIN takes us in that direction, or if he goes somewhere else. Where are you taking us, SHIN? Where are you taking us? I think SHIN is saving the goal for later. SHIN is going to die if the game goes on that long. And you can see that SHIN, because of how he's expanding, you would usually, as SHIN is a little bit upset about losing the Overlord, he's like, oi! But if you wanted to take this gold base as a 4th, you would take this base as the 3rd, and then take the gold as a 4th base. So SHIN, he's expanding in a very, very different way. Likewise, Lairs being taken as well. So again, I'm really curious to see where SHIN does lead us. If he plans to go into Muta play, for example, that's a possibility. There it is. Roach Warren has been thrown down. Okay, things are feeling normal again. As we mentioned, Roach play is the meta on Dynasty, so Roaches are going to be quite regular. Oh. I didn't Here we go. But it looks like Dave might have some connectivity issues on his end. But here we go. Marine's going to be stimming in. They catch a queen. One queen goes down. The Ling's going to try and collapse in. It looks like SHIN, he will have enough fuel to defend against the initial drop play. ByuN is going to be forced back. Behind this, again, it was a 2-on-1. I should say, yeah, rack expand into 2-on-1. That's it. It's okay, Dave. It's like, everything's fine, Dave. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's all good. Fine, bye. What? I know Dave has been drinking. Dave, at the start of the tournament, he was expressing that he's like a couple of beers deep. Oh no. So best of luck to those over on Dave's channel. I mean, I'm sure they're used to it. Like Dave, I remember when I was casted with Chicken Man, I think he mentioned himself that I don't think Chicken Man is casted with Dave. With Sober Dave. I don't think Sober Dave exists. I think he's a myth. He's a legend. Never meant to be. Shout out to Dave. As behind this, we're embracing Roach Ravager, of course. The creep is looking solid. ByuN taking a third base, getting to his third expansion. And SHIN is only droning up to just under 3-base saturation. Uh-oh. And if SHIN stops droning from here, this could lead into a 3-base all-in. This could just be an all-in out of SHIN. Yeah, he's amassing Roaches, amassing Ravagers, amassing Lings. Is going to try to, make sure he doesn't get supply blocked. And that tells us that SHIN, he's just going all-in. He's sending everything across the map to deny the gold and to break ByuN. ByuN coming into a double drop. Lings are keeping up. Roaches across the map. The tank is sieged, but the Biles, they're coming in. We have the Ravagers. We have those Biles. And they should shut down the tank. Ooh, yeah, the tank will fall. ByuN going for a counterattack, going for the third base. And SHIN is still not droning. SHIN is still very all in. And SHIN is being pulled apart. Yeah, drop into the main, only Queens to defend. It's gonna be close. Lings are going down, Queens as well. Oh, the Queens are trying to hold their own, but Queens are falling one after the other. Lings, they're having a hard time responding. Yeah, SHIN, he's being pulled apart. The Queens are falling one after the other. The main base is being broken. SHIN does defend towards the north, and the Lings have to respond once again. The double drop from ByuN. How many Queens did fall? That was 7 Queens going down. Oh my god. And that will impact the injects. That will impact the production of SHIN. SHIN has to replace the Queens, and is now droning. Oh, this is a rough position for SHIN. He's only now droning up. These drones are an afterthought. They were never the intention here, which means SHIN has to expand, take another base. Has to take a fourth. So we'll see if SHIN can recover. Basically, what's happening here is that SHIN cut workers for a long time. He cut workers for a very long time because it looked like, and I'm pretty sure he was planning to go for an all-in, because of the drop play, the all-in had to come back home, and now SHIN is working towards a longer game state. It has to kill the tumor, throwing down the 4th base now, which means ByuN is defended, and ByuN is now, well, ByuN now has map control. Now has map control here, moving out with his drops, moving out with his bio. SHIN is lacking Banelings, bear that in mind as well. So it's just Ling, Roach, Ravager. And from here, ByuN could just A-Racks. ByuN, he's only on 5 though, and yeah, 4 CC. Never mind. He's going for a 4 CC. ByuN is building up towards a longer game. Oh, the Lings! Oh, the Lings, they engage ahead of time. A little bit too premature. A lot of Lings go down as well. And SHIN is in trouble. Yeah, the Mass Marine stimming on forward. The Biles that don't quite connect. Will force a pickup though. SHIN will force ByuN back. And behind this, Infestors. Infestors are on the way. Infestors are a good way at buying time. They're ideally buying time with their fungal growth, zoning back the army. Can help catch and help allow the Roach Ravager to be a little bit more effective as well. Baneliness on the way, getting towards Baneling speed, +1 melee. Hive as well. But unfortunately, SHIN, he just has a subpar army. The Baneliness going to be shut down, and Baneling speed is denied. The hatchery as well. Nice fumble though. The punish is real. The Biles. Oh, they barely don't connect. The base falls. ByuN escapes with most of his army. Another fungal. We can go for a chain fungal even. Trying to. And these tanks are exposed. SHIN will clean this up. Not bad. We'll catch all 3 tanks. Very nicely done. SHIN is still in this. Does preserve most of those infestors. I think only 1 infestor went down. And SHIN is still stuck on Ling Roach Ravager. Remember, the Baneling Nest was sniped. Baneling Nest just now being rebuilt. No Banelings whatsoever. So dealing with a bio-based army is that much more difficult. SHIN heavily reliant on fungals. And SHIN is pushing in. We have to make this push work here and now. The fungal doesn't quite connect. It only grazes the army. 1 tank falls. 2nd tank as well. And SHIN trying to force his way on top of those tanks. There's 2 tanks left. Down to 1, but there's a tank on the high ground as well. Oh, we're running out of roaches, running out of lings. SHIN has to back off, just barely not enough. At the same time across the map, 21 drone kills, and yeah, SHIN, he's running out of steam, he's running out of army. Does get 17 SCVs. But he's forced back home. Yeah, this counter draw from ByuN. Snipes at base, snipes a mineral line. SHIN's throwing back around. Does catch a medevac though. Shout out to the queens. Medevac does fall. Baneling Nest is done. Baneling speed still yet to be researched. You see ByuN heavily ahead in upgrades as well, working on 3-3. Meanwhile, SHIN is stuck on 1-2. +2 melee still on the way. Again, SHIN, he's hoping to try to catch the army here, like, off guard. He's hoping to try to catch ByuN with his pants down. Let's see if he can. Tank is still on the high ground, though. Marines from behind. Good fungal. The bots as well this time, they will connect. They connect with the Marauders. But the Marines, they get themselves the Ravagers. Oh, these are brutal losses here for SHIN. Yeah, bleeding out Ravagers. GG gets called. SHIN, he runs out of steam as he was all in, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. A very, very unfortunate game there for SHIN. Again, he was kind of playing from behind, or he was playing against a goal-based Terran player, and initially the plan was to go for the all-in. Initially the plan was to commit and just double down, but unfortunately, as you remember, the all-in failed. ByuN was harassing at the same time, did pull SHIN apart, and then SHIN was stumbling into the mid-game. He had some moments with his fungals, that is true, but just some moments for SHIN. As we're now getting into game number 2, and now getting into a much more standard map into ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. I would say SHIN is like the Gumiho of Zergs. He likes to try to all in. I don't know if I would associate Gumiho in that way. Gumiho, I would say SHIN is similar to Gumiho in the sense that they're both creative and they both come up with their own builds. I would lean more towards that idea. I can get behind that. But I wouldn't pin them as being all-in players. Like SHIN plays macro, so does Gumiho. But I wouldn't paint them as necessarily cheesers or all-inners necessarily all the time. Oh. Here we go, getting into the next game. And we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. Right, always the consummate professional, not replying while not wearing any pants. Oh no. Let's go. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ByuN, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0, getting his revenge, putting a point on the board. We'll see if he can close it out with the 2-0. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Red Zerg player representing Gaiman Gladiators. It is SHIN. Let's see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can try to catch ByuN off guard. Again, going into a much more macro-oriented map. And we'll see how they can compare to each other. Again, game 1 was more of an oddity. It came down to the map as well, to Dynasty. It leads to more unusual games, and it leads to more all-ins. Something I should emphasize as well, I don't think I've ever seen a Zerg player not all-in on Dynasty. Like, if they're forced onto Dynasty, like, all-ins are par for the course. But we'll see when SHIN decides to pull the trigger here on Alkione, if at all. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener. Likewise, ByuN going for a Rax expand. Here we go. So we are going to be settling in. And we'll see where this leads us. Now, another interesting thing here is that ByuN is not going for 2x Reaper. If you remember, the last time they played, I think SHIN every game went 15-15, and ByuN did avoid, or every time he did end up going 2x Reaper, ByuN was shut down as well. So even though ByuN is quite fond of that opener, against SHIN, I don't think it's the best move. I don't think it's the best approach against SHIN, just because of how well he can defend against it and how hard he can punish it as well. So this time, just standard openers so far. We'll see if we get a 2x Reaper out of ByuN at some point in this series. You know, behind us, Queens are on the way, Reaper's moving out. And we're settling into a standard opener and a standard back and forth. Third base being taken. Reaper dipping in. The dance has begun. Ideally, SHIN wouldn't be losing any lings or drones, of course. SHIN just trying to buy time. ByuN, he wants that drone though. he wants it badly. Doesn't quite get it. Will try to slip by, but alas, the Queen has arrived, and with the help of the Queen, we will be able to deter ByuN. Back at home, ByuN going for a third CC. Third CC before starport. Economic opener, economic follow-up here by ByuN. Working towards the mid-game. As a reminder, last game, ByuN did go for a 2-1-1. He went for bio-aggression and bio-drop play, no Hellions. This time, Hellions should be embraced, as there's the add-on swap with the reactor, and we should be seeing a tech lab on the racks. As Hellion production has begun, and tech lab is on the way. We'll see if we go into an add-on swap or not. ByuN can be quite fond of rushing into Stim instead of going for Cloak Banshee, but we'll see. There we go. It is going to be Viking first. Okay. ByuN, you have our attention here, so no add-on swap. Not initially. Viking will be coming out to shut down. Okay, Viking into add-on swap. Cheeky move out of ByuN. Very cheeky. So essentially the way this works, as focus on the Reaper initially, it does not get the drone. But the way this works is a Viking opener traditionally means that there's no Banshee. The reason why is because if you go for a Viking, you delay the add-on swap, and technically this is inefficient. This is inefficient. It means that your Banshees are delayed, so when SHIN sees the Viking, the chances of him skipping Banshee defense is going to be a little bit higher here, when really it's going to be delayed Banshee by ByuN, intentionally so to catch the Zerg player off guard. So again, very cheeky move here by ByuN. We'll see how much these Banshees can get done, as ideally they catch SHIN off guard. Thanks to the Viking. As we do see ByuN rotating around, working towards the natural. Queens are keeping up. Behind this, ByuN landing his third base. And SHIN back at home is happily droning, working towards a lair, working towards a Baneling nest. Getting into Ling Bane. Very safe opener out of SHIN. SHIN decides to delay his upgrades in favor of Baneling speed and in favor of the lair. So SHIN's upgrades will be a little bit later here. If this game goes on any longer without any Evo Chambers, we could even try to tech up a little bit harder as well. Keep an eye on SHIN. So he gets another expansion, getting a fourth. Banshees back at home are building up. You can see ByuN is waiting for Cloak, has the first Banshee, soon to be second. And SHIN is taking all gases. Is he going Muta? SHIN, no Evo Chambers. No Evo Chambers by SHIN. There it is. Spire has been thrown down. Bold move. Going into Ling Bane Muta here. Now, this does mean that Shin is going to be vulnerable to earlier game aggression, as Shin, his Ling main, is going to be a little bit lackluster for that much longer. Likewise, mutas are vulnerable. Mutas are not ideal in defense. We'll see if we can get away with it. At the same time, Banshees are soon to move out. Hellions have map control. Ling Scout will get eyes on the third. They get eyes on the Bio. But here come the Banshees on the right-hand side. So far, thankfully, Shin did not cut corners. He has a Spore in each mineral line. He was playing safe. It's a very safe play initially here by Shin. Not caught with his pants down. Banshees do go for the dive, but Queens are keeping up. We have detection as well. More importantly, though, the Banshees are denied scouting. The Banshees do not see the Spire. So ByuN is in the dark. It gets 5 drones. Drones so far, not bad. As we do see ByuN getting ready for a split push. Banshees on one end, we have a Bio Hellion on the other. Stim is done. 1-1 about to finish up as well. And Shin will have some Ling Bane to defend. But again, these are going to be 0-0 Ling. This is going to be 0-0 upgrades on the Ling Bane. Mutas are on the way. Shin dancing with the army, buying time. Hellions towards the left. Ling Bane does keep up. Will collapse in. Yeah, very nice catch here. Shin, he shuts down the Hellions at the same time. Mutas are revealed. They shut down the Banshees. ByuN is aware. He commits though. Gets a Queen. Takes down the Tumors. But ByuN will have to pull back. And back at him, turrets. Turrets are on the way. Widowmine's production has begun. Alongside Drilling Claws. And ByuN, he doesn't back off. Again, the power here, there is kind of momentum in favor of ByuN just because he does have the upgrade lead. Just because Shin did invest into these mutas, but the turret, does finish up. But 4 SCV kills. We get 4 SCV so far, delaying the expansion just barely. ByuN doesn't stop. On the mine! Ready to get the mine shot. 1 Widowmine behind this. Drop on the right-hand side. Only 3 queens. Shin is vulnerable. The mine, oh god! Doesn't quite go off. Not yet. And the queens are going down. 1, 2 queens fall. Ay, ay, ay. ByuN doing so much with so little. Without 1 drop. Catching a muta as well. And Shin, he's hurting. He's having a hard time keeping up with the split push here. Good Ling main connections. But alas, in the main base, there we go. The drop is cleaned up. Shin, he's holding. He's surviving. The mine shot. Up. Oh my god. Takes on 3 Banelings. Could have been so much worse. But Shin holds. Whew. Again, a lesser player then and there would have fallen. Then and there would have been broken. The drop would have killed all 3 queens into the mineral line. Likewise, the push on the left-hand side would have snowballed out of control. Shin does hold, but not out of the woods yet. Again, these mutas, they ideally need to force ByuN back home. Hit the production, there's reinforcements though. ByuN can still focus on his pushes. We'll find some stray SCVs though. Denying the turret. At the same time, ByuN pushing in. Ooh, takes the bathing to the face. Just the one though. And nice target firing out of ByuN. ByuN, he keeps up, he does defend. At the same time, pushing on the right, and there's nothing here in position. Shin, he's not ready for the split pushes. Was not anticipating this. Yeah, Shin, he just cannot keep up. Not here. Oh, but he will shut down the first move out. So there we go. 2 medevacs full. A 3rd medevac as well. Okay, nice cleanup. ByuN overextending a little bit there. That was an expensive loss. Changing to spot the main army. Shin is aware. We'll see if Shin can deal with this. Likewise, Shin is still vulnerable to that right-hand side drop. Skin reveals the army. I love that these Marines are doing the best they can to, like, blend in. And they're getting away with it. So far, so good. Following the main army. Shin spots the drop. And Shin has to buy time. He has to buy time for those mutas to clean up the drop. Forces it back. And SHIN cannot hold on. Has to give up the expansion. ByuN has broken through. You know what, the Mutas, they did clean up the medevacs. They're racing back home. SHIN trying to re-expand, taking the gold. And ByuN is gaining ground. How many Widow Mines? Just 4. Not too many Widow Mines here for ByuN. Has to be careful. Drop towards the natural. Cleaned up as well. The Thor is exposed. Have a hopping up here. ByuN will save it. Saves the Thor. Takes down the base. And I appreciate that ByuN backs off. He doesn't keep pushing. He's going to rotate. Rotates around, playing it safe. If he kept going, might have been surrounded. And even forces an engage off of creep. ByuN maxed out, dropping back into the natural as well. And once again, SHIN having a hard time keeping up. Has a lot of mutas though. But the goal base is denied. I believe that was a kill. Yeah, that was a kill that a cancel. And there was no final engagement. SHIN just pulled apart, denied a 5th over and over again. And ByuN takes the series 2-0. GG. Very impressive game 2 there by ByuN. Just completely showing how it's so difficult to play out Lingbane. Like Lingbane, even though it got unscouted, the power of Lingbane Muta. This is what I meant to emphasize. So the power of Muta play is to harass across the map, not to defend. It's to be across the map, it's to have map control, to deny drop play, of course, and to keep a lot of the army pinned back at home to defend. You know, this is why Raynor was so successful, right? He was so aggressive, so active on the map, and Clem was just stuck at home. Clem just never had the opportunity to harass across the map and to be in the face of Raynor. Here, ByuN was kind of the initiator. ByuN, he was the one that SHIN had to respond to, had to defend against. He very rarely could move out. There were a couple of moments where Mutas were able to get some SCV kills, that is true, but those were few and far between. For the most part, SHIN was stuck at home instead and was being pulled apart. One too many times, SHIN wasn't ready for a split push. One too many times, SHIN wasn't ready for multi-pronged aggression, and once the ball starts rolling, it gets out of control. It gets out of hand very quickly. GG, well played. GG, well played. Very impressive stuff there out of ByuN. And with that, ByuN advances on to the grand finals. The question becomes, who will he face off against? We have the grand finals. The upper semis went all the way to the ace match, to be expected. Scrolling on over here, Dark and Gumiho went all the way to game 3. We expected a back and forth, and did go the way of Dark in the end, which means we have a ZVT grand finals. Let's go.